Rainy Bastarash here with the American School of Hypnosis. So let me go and see what kind of live comments we have here. Oh boy, all kinds of them came in. See what happens when I get talking? Let's see. So group sessions are a lot easier because you got a lot of people and they don't even take as long because you don't have to do the testing and all the individual things to find out how someone's mind works. You're only doing the session one way because you can only do it one way. So hopefully you're doing it non-analytical, which is going to, I guess you could say, appease the majority of them. Now, whenever we did, like I said, past life regression this week and contacting spirits next week, we used to alternate them every week when we had our groups. We had like probably 45 to 50 people a night. We actually rented the Hampton Inn each week for that. I mean, it was a lot of fun. And what we would do is after the group was over, we'd go around to each person and they would tell their story, what they experienced. And that's what makes it a lot of fun. Now, after we're all done that, and people were amazed at hearing other people's stories, because if they didn't go into hypnosis deep enough, they came back next week because they were going to try to, do it better, but they wanted to hear other people's stories as well. But when I was all done, what I do, Donna, is I would take one individual, the one that tested the best, if I showed them how to do suggestibility tests, or the one that had the best response when they're going around the room, and I did a one-on-one with them up front of everybody. So I would do a past life regression, a very similar session, but this one I would pinpoint because, like you said, it has to be very generic with a group. So with this one, I would respond to what they were saying. Where are you? What are you doing this? Are you inside or are you outside? They'd say, I'm outside. Okay, what does it look like where you are? Oh, there's a mountain. Let's go to the mountain. What do you see? I see a gathering. Let's go to the gathering. You can go with them. And it's so much more detail and so interesting that everybody's like, I want one. Okay. And you tell them, if it's a group session, say, okay, tonight, when you leave, if you guys schedule before you leave, I'll give you 20% off an individual session that you can come see me in the office, because they've seen the advantage. They've seen what you can do, and you'll get a lot of individual sessions booked that way. So groups are great as I guess you could say, an attraction tool to get them to come. Let's see. How do I self-hypnotize for bad habits? Anita, how do I self-hypnotize for bad habits? Well, I don't know if you're a hypnotist or not, Anita, but all hypnosis is self-hypnosis. So the same way you would hypnotize someone else, you would hypnotize yourself. You can, if you find some good scripts on there, go online to our website. We've got tons of scripts on everything. You find a good script for whatever it is you need to hypnotize yourself for. And reading is hypnotic. You could just read it to yourself on a daily basis, or you could record it and play it back to yourself and, and relax. There's lots of ways of doing that. If you have a chance to go on our YouTube site, you'll see lots and lots of videos where I show different techniques of how to do self-hypnosis. And also online, at our online store, I got to give a plug, we have the Hypnosis Self-Help Manual. So it's a big manual showing a bunch of different ways to do hypnosis, includes scripts, affirmations, all kinds of things. And it's not very expensive at all. I think it's like $20 or something. Let's see where we're going. Whew. And Peggy says, was hypnotized first time by a live hypnotherapist. Previously, it was by videos or self-hypnosis. I didn't get clear pictures and had lots of doubt. I did my best. However, you do address that with a client. Yeah, something that's interesting what you just said, Peggy, is you said I didn't get clear pictures. Okay, pictures perceives visual. Visual is one of your five senses. Your five senses are your conscious senses. Has nothing to do with hypnosis. Those are your conscious senses, your sense of sight, sound, taste, smell, and touch. There's all five, okay? In hypnosis, or in the subconscious mind, you're using your sixth sense. That's not one of the fives, it's the sixth. The sixth sense is your sense of imagination. Okay, some people call it extrasensory perception. Imagination is what guides it. And the reason why it's important to know, if I ask you to imagine yourself on top of the Empire State Building and jumping off, Some people will say, oh, that's terrible. Some people can say, I just can't see it, because they're not visual primary. Everyone has different primary sense. My primary one is kinesthetic. Raluca's visual, that's the major one, or the majority. But if I said, imagine what it would be like, anyone could imagine it. It's just a sense of imagining it. It's not really seeing, hearing, smelling. It's a whole different feeling. You can imagine seeing a car, you can imagine a car in front of you. You can imagine a snowman over there. Okay, it's just more like, almost like a feeling. You just know it. So try using imagination. You don't see things, you imagine them in hypnosis. And you're going to see what I mean with the session Raluca is going to be doing at the end. Like I said, relaxation isn't important. I tell people, whether you relax or not, it doesn't matter as long as you use your imagination. So think of that when we're doing the session that Raluca's going to do at the end of this program. What are some ways to do a past life regression if you're analytical? Okay, that's a tough one. I have hypnotized many people who are analytical for past life regression, but the typical analytical person who's more resistant, who doesn't like to relax or doesn't even want to relax, because sometimes it could be a little more forceful, usually doesn't come to see you for past life regression. I'd say 90% of your clients, if not more, are non-analytical, because they're more into the spiritual realm and the I guess you could say this, the woo-woo things, as we call it, past life and contacting spirits and like that. What I tell analytical people, because a lot of times I will test them even before, when I'm doing a group with the finger test and the arm test, and I'll tell people the ones that your fingers touched and your arms moved, that did really well with the analytical test, you're going to experience a very good session. You'll be able to follow it and everything. But those that didn't do well, those that tested analytical, okay, you're the tough nuts. You're going to have to open your mind. You're going to have to let go, use your imagination, and just allow it to happen. Don't be resistant. Don't be critical of what I'm saying. Just experience it. A guided imagery. Just experience it, follow it, and you can do as well as anyone else, but you're going to have to let go without being resistant. And I also tell them, and if you don't do really good in this group session, come see me for a one-on-one afterwards, and I'll just charge you the difference in sessions from the group to the one-on-one. I've done that a few times, because like I said, with an analytical person, you could use analytical inductions and all that to get them to that place. When I say that place, the place of not relaxation, but resistance. Okay. Once they've done their, when you're doing what we teach you with in the school, is you do your induction, your depth test, your deepener. Well, with analytical people, you do the analytical deepener. By the time they're done that analytical deepener, they can go through any session that pretty much anybody else can. Okay. Peggy's saying, for example, I wouldn't have seen a mountain, so I would have pretended. Yeah, you maybe don't see a mountain, but what would a mountain be like? Imagine if there were a mountain there. That's what I'll tell a lot of people. Say, where are you right now? And they go, I don't see anything. Can you see where your not residence, but where do you live? I don't want to say a house or a home, because they might have been a caveman. They might be an animal. Who knows? And if they say, I don't, with a one-on-one, they're saying, I don't see anything. I say, well, imagine what it would look like if you had a place to live right now. What would it look like? Explain it to me. Describe it to me. So that's another way to get around that. Let's see. Imagine is a very important word in a hypnosis session. That's right. Thanks, Raluca. I've been writing, many of you know I've been writing scripts, hypnosis scripts, for many years. I've written literally thousands of them. If you go online to our store, you're going to see so many manuals. I've actually, this week, this book I just wrote, I think was number 65. But when I look back at when I first started, I even learned the hard way. I used to use the word visualize this, visualize that. And so many people, I don't see it because they're not visual. So I try now to, if you notice, like this new script manual I just put out, the word visualize isn't in there at all. The word imagine is in there probably about 100 times, okay? So I try swapping visualize with imagine as much as I can. Now, if you want to use one of the 5 senses with a specific person, interview them first, okay? give them, well, I don't have much of a picture of anything here, but give them a picture to look at, okay? Maybe something like this. Oh, here's a pretty tree, okay? Here's a pretty tree. It's a money tree, one of my favorite. So describe that tree to me. And if they say, well, it's green and it has 10s and 20s and it's, this tall by this wide, they're visual, okay? If they say, wow, looks like I'm going to have a lot of fun with that. It feels great. It feels like a real happy tree to have. They're probably kinesthetic. So when you're speaking to them, ask them to, have a couple postcards they can look at. And as they describe the postcards, what's the primary sense that's coming out of their mouth? Are they describing it visually, kinesthetic? It sounds like this, auditory. However they describe it, when you start to speak to them, giving them advice or giving them suggestions, come back with the same primary sense that they used, and you'll be a lot more effective. Where are we at? Danny, hi. She goes, thank you. I just found your channel, and my finger did touch. Okay, but I've had trouble hypnotizing myself. Guess I just need some practice. Well, when you say I have trouble hypnotizing myself, that makes me, first thing that comes to mind is, how are you having trouble? In what way? What are you expecting? Are you expecting an altered state? Are you expecting a trance? I hate the word trance. That's a misnomer from a lot of the old-time hypnotists that want to scare people. Are you resisting? Are you open to suggestion? As long as you're not going la, 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 okay, and resisting it, it's working. It's just accepting the suggestion. You want to not fight. So if you can imagine it, it's working. It's not... Hypnosis is a helpmate. It's going to help you to do what you want to do, but it's not going to push you over the edge. It's not magic. It's not going to do something to you. I can't make anybody do anything they don't want to do, but if they want to do it, it's going to be the biggest help you've ever had. So I'd like to thank you all for coming. You all have a wonderful week, and go to our online store to see, or the brand new page, to be able to see our script manual, the new script manual, and if you're interested in the courses. Oh, and one thing, Jimmy, you had mentioned about the instructor course, that also the instructor course also comes with the practitioner course if you haven't become a practitioner with us. So that's included with it. So that's an added bonus to go. And with that, you all have a wonderful night. Bye-bye now.